Hello everyone, Dean the Autist, I'm back. I really didn't change anything. So, let's continue, shall we? It seems like I ate too much yesterday, because I wake up in the morning feeling just nauseous enough for it to be a problem. I really can't postpone going into town for shopping though, so despite wanting to roll over and sleep it away, I force myself to get up and dress instead. Somewhere between buying toothpaste and a few other groceries, I end up walking it off. Then I feel hungry. After stopping for breakfast, it hits me just how much time has gone by. I hadn't expected to be out this long at all. I'm not even sure if I bothered to lock my door. I should really get back. When I get back to the dorm, I see Hideki standing in front of my room from the entrance. I can think of a few things more unexpected, and I can't help thinking I might have a heart attack just from the surprise. Fortunately, it doesn't happen. As soon as he sees me, he says hello in his usual detached way. I'm a little slow to reply to him, so he repeats the greeting without missing a beat. Hello. Is something wrong? I'm just surprised to see you here. Not as surprised as I could have been, since it's impossible to mistake him for anyone else. I'd recognize those weird clothes anywhere. Come to think of it, I've really surrounded myself with distinctive-looking people lately. Hideki's head lolls slightly to one side, a little too easily. Why? Is it unusual to see someone's family come to see them? Well, yeah, actually. So Hideki isn't so much of a robot after all. In fact, it's almost as if he's more caught off guard by the fact he can even be caught off guard, but he recovers quickly. Nevertheless, in that brief moment, he looks his age. That uncomfortable side of his seems like the more honest. And I wouldn't mind seeing more of it. Not so much, though, that I'd go out of my way to pry. Only Shizune would be that zealous that my thoughts get so far is proof she's rubbing off on me. Yeah. I think that you'd have a reason, that's all. There is one. See? Anyway, we can talk while we're looking for her. That's why you're here, right? Shizune is in this student council room. I was looking for you. We might take a trip soon, a family trip. Do you think she would want to come with us? Yeah, I don't know. She's kind of been on a warpath lately with a lot of stuff, and once she's focused on something, she just won't drop it. I guess you would know that. Hideki looks much more at ease walking around than I did in my first week. So, this isn't your first time here? Just throwing it out there, of course, completely ignoring the surrounding environment that could just run in the family. It'd explain why Hideki seems so distant from Shizune. I get the feeling there's more to it than just her deafness. No, but this is the first time I can walk around so much. It's kind of weird here. I bumped into a person who told me women are not allowed in the dorms. God damn it, Kenji! Wait, hold on. After I told him I'm not a woman, he told me I was misleading, then accused me of being an assassin. God damn it, Kenji! I was warned that he was not only invincible, but strong enough to destroy the building with a punch, or at least knock over the painting hanging in the hallway. By the way, that painting is actually screwed to the wall. Yeah, that's the guy across the hall from me. He's okay. I see. Oh, you left your door open. It was unlocked when I came here. I'm a little annoyed that Hideki knows that. The only way he could is if he had opened my door. But the feeling passes. It doesn't matter. I have nothing to hide or steal. Your soccer ball is pretty nice. That's one of the things that doesn't matter. If you're a soccer player, a soccer ball is very important. I guess it is. The thought makes me smile. I'm here because my father bought a new phone and he wanted to upgrade Shizune in case she needs to call him. I thought that you should know too, since you're a boyfriend, aren't you? Yeah. Why? Just in case there's something wrong or she needs anything. It isn't what I meant, but I'll go along. Even if she did, she probably wouldn't call. That's how she is. Well, if you know, coming all the way here for that though, he could have updated her via email. He does not like using emails. That's so old-fashioned. Don't tell me he still does business through regular mail or something. Silence. Now it's my turn to feel awkward. Is Hideki taking it literally, or did I just hit the mark? Nah, I'm sure that what really comes down to is that he does want to see his daughter and stay in contact with her. In the end, they are still family after all, even though they play at being at each other's throats. The door to the student council room is open, and Hideki and I walk in on Shigoro in mid-rant. He sees us, but decides it's not worth stopping at rambling. It's not worth stopping rambling at Shizune over. This is really shaking my faith in my previous assumption. When I was in the... Oh, he was in the student council. Actually, can we tell if he's lying? Okay. When I was in the student council, our room was smaller, colder too, like working out of a meat locker. Not like you spoiled kids. What a waste, sitting here in your giant room, doing nothing. Aren't there only 3 of you? That makes having so many desks seems like an unnecessary display of mindless decadence. Appalling. You must use the desk you need, and not one more. It is part of my code. It may be odd of me to think so. Hearing only half of a conversation is pretty strange. Also, that's some code. Now that I've arrived, he changes the subject and starts talking about the reason he's here. Hideki and I are going on a trip. What are you doing? Does everyone who uses sign language mumble while they do it? No, but I'm just an amateur. It helps me think. It's kind of like a force of habit. Just an amateur? Unbelievable. Fine. He turns back to Shizune, just in time to catch her shaking her head from side to side. Are you sure you won't be coming along? She reiterates the gesture. Fine. Can you tell her to call me if she needs anything? Yes. I really think sending an email would have been easier, though. I'm not going to read emails on my phone. If she won't speak, she can call Hideki. I suppose if I have to be reached, you would have to call me, or the other girl would have to call me. Actually, all 3 of you could just call Hideki. And with that, he swiftly turns and leaves, Hideki trailing behind him. A long trip for something that took 5 minutes. Neither of them can express their feelings very well. In Shizune's case, I have to question whether she would if she could. That explains a lot, but she doesn't seem unhappy with the arrangement. Even so, I wonder if she might be. When the door closes behind them, leaving Shizune and me by ourselves, she lets out a deep breath that seems to echo in the silence of the room. It's totally ridiculous asking me to go on a trip. The timing couldn't be worse. It overlaps the student council elections for one. Second, I haven't even cheered up Misha. If you consider that, it's annoying to have anything else to think about. Yeah, but you might be too focused on all that stuff right now. Shizune adjusts her glasses roughly. Completely 100% right. The minute I decided I was going to cheer up Misha, everything else went on the back burner, I suppose. I think your dad might care about you more than he lets on. I know. So then, it could be a good idea. No. And then again, more firmly, as if for both of us. No. After coming this far, I can't take a break. A vacation would be jarring. It would be like waking up in a different life. Yesterday was my vacation, so we have to go all in. I'm sorry, but it's just how I am. I remember what Yuko said, that she found Shizune brave in a kind of way, and I think I understand what she meant, and I have to agree. Even though it could be called recklessness or foolishness, and pointless stubbornness, I guess you could call it bravery too. I wonder if I can see that there is a fundamental flaw in Shizune's thinking that I hadn't noticed until now. I'm sure that Shizune has reflected longer and more arduously than I could about where she messed up to create such a bad situation between her and Misha. However, as typical for her, she wouldn't let it hold her back and immediately set out to fix the problem. This completely ignores a large part of the problem, Misha herself. Moving from critical introspection to holding Misha up as a part of a goal causes the person to get lost in the shuffle. Misha has said a lot in the past few days, but nothing about how Misha feels. Shizune's way of thinking is abnormal. Few normal people would reject a friend and then expect things to go back to the way were so easily. Shizune does because she sees life as, if I had to put it simply, capable of being segmented and compartmentalized. Misha, like anyone else, sees it as a whole experience, a long continuous journey, where one moment of heartache can follow you forever. For Shizune, an event is an event, and few of them cross over. Life is compartmentalized around triumphs, failures, and decisions, where each one stands as its own story. It's why the thought of a vacation is jarring to her. It's why she can only appreciate people's immediate emotions. It's exactly how someone obsessed with living in the moment would think, really. Likewise, Shizune can see Misha as a friend, but I doubt she has ever thought of Misha as anything more until recently, or questioned anything about her. Misha as Misha would be enough for her, even if to Misha it must be incredibly stifling. Shizune is just Shizune to herself. It's likely she doesn't even think about the after effects of her actions in the long term, as long as they stir up other people's lives. To Misha, though, I'm sure it made her almost seem heroic, like Yuko admiring her bravery, and even myself. As Yeah, after recording this episode, I'm gonna take a break, man. Just and Shizune's thoughts on that sentiment are that it was just as good she could touch someone's life, but it ends there. It's easy to captivate, much harder to nurture. On to the next thing. Thinking of life in terms of almost completely isolated events has a tendency to isolate a person too. Though she's trying to remedy it now, the point remains. There was simply no way Shizune could have avoided hurting Misha. Her emotional investment in Shizune was something Shizune couldn't account for, so she didn't. Combined with her personality, it was inevitable. Both of them have pretty much told me that all of that in bits and pieces over the past couple months I've known them. In the middle of considering their differences, an idea begins to take shape in my mind. Are you working on your plan right now? The second you cheer up Misha plan? Of course, I was thinking about it the whole time I was being yelled at. Flicking her glasses up the bridge of her nose with an oddly triumphant air, she taps her finger against her temple. It's multitasking. Really? Isn't it more like you're able to concentrate on something like that because you can't hear? Well, whatever. When I ask her what she thinks of mine, it turns out we've both arrived at a similar idea. It makes me wonder. Current scene perfect. Okay, so is Act 4 the same until we get to an ending? Because, I was kind of expecting, like, after that choice, we would reach an ending soon. And then... Awa. Right? If I have to go back to make the decision and then skip through all of Act 4, right, to get to the other ending, then, yeah, okay. Although it makes me feel kind of uneasy, since we're talking about a human being, the first step is to corner Misha. Though the situation is a little too much, like something out of a cop drama for me. It's come to this because talking to her normally is proving to be near impossible. But we do have classes together, even the very first class of the day. Although it takes a while for the announcement to come, the second that I hear we're going to be working together in groups today, Shizune and I make sure Misha is in ours. I think Mutuo assigns a suspiciously large amount of group work and self-study, don't you think so? But it's easy, so it's okay, right? Yeah, there's other stuff I've been thinking about lately. That might not be okay, though. Misha nods after each sentence, then brushes it all aside. I thought about it, and I don't do enough work when I work with you and Chi-chan, so I'm gonna try harder today, so don't distract me, Hee-chan. I have to stay focused. That's an annoyingly transparent dodge. Shizune doesn't look too happy about it either. Since Misha doesn't bother to sign any of it, opting to twirl a pen in her hands instead. From the shaky way she was doing it, I'm sure it was so she wouldn't sign anything inadvertently. From the way Misha looks, distracted and uneasy, I doubt it's because she wants to keep Shizune out of the loop for any malicious reason, although it's still obviously a way of distracting Shizune from herself. Shizune wants to talk to you. Can it wait until later, Hichan? No. Why not now? We're in the middle of class. Now she's spinning a pen in each hand. I'm beginning to think her signing has turned into a kind of nervous tic for her. This isn't a good replacement, although the sight of her dual wielding is pretty impressive. After class then? After class, I don't waste a second bringing it up. As everyone else flies out of the classroom, leaving the three of us alone, Misha takes increasingly longer glances in every direction except forward. Do you want something to eat? Why do you and Chi-chan keep asking me if I want to eat something, Hee-chan? Because we're all headed to the cafeteria, and we haven't eaten together in a long time, so why not? This is about the student council. Taking Shizune's lack of a reply as admission, Misha sighs. Chi-chan, is that all you ever think about? Before Shizune can reply, she leaves. I have to say, I'm not left feeling very confident after what just happened. Neither of us were expecting it to go so smoothly, but it would have been nice. Reading my mind, Shizune curls a finger around her glasses for a while before signing. I know what you're thinking, but no, it's not that. I think we should give her some space now. I told you I wouldn't give up so easily. Yeah, well, now I'm starting to wonder if it's not too soon. Cold feet? Well, I'm not going to. That would be giving up on her. I apologize if you can hear that. There's a fine line between helping someone and smothering them, but I just wanted Misha to pull herself together and stop acting so weird. I know she can do it. Even if she wants to try, people don't change overnight. If they could, the world would be a much easier place. Okay, you win. Then I guess this is the part where we split up and look for her. Though, I'm the only one who's really supposed to find her. If I run into her first, I'll call your cell phone. Smiling, Shizune takes out her cell phone, turning it on to prepare. I notice that she has an extremely high number of unread messages, and looking at her expression, so does she. Twirling it around by the strap a couple of times, she grimaces. I don't like using this thing. Why can't I just snap my fingers? And then what? I'm not a dog, and it doesn't travel as far as the phone signal. You're having a lot of fun with this, aren't you? Shaking her head from side to side, she continues. It's obvious where she will go. You can't just look for her on the school grounds. She would want to go as far away as she can. Check the tea shop. It's usually empty this early. Misha loves to go there if she feels like skipping class. She loves the parfaits they have there. You really know a lot about her. But she would overthink it and turn it into something that would seem a lot more backhanded than it actually is. So I choose to just nod and leave instead, until I feel her holding on to my sleeve. What? I say instinctively, forgetting that she can't hear me. It feels nice that I don't have to do it by myself anymore, because I can trust you. I'm really happy. It makes me happy to hear that. I can't think of a way to respond and end up only nodding again. Heading outside, I catch a glimpse of pink hair behind some other girl's head. As I head that way, I realize that this isn't the way to go if you want to leave school. It's the way to the student council room. If I wanted to avoid Shizune, I wouldn't head there. It's strange that Misha would be going in that direction then. Maybe she wants to talk things over with Shizune? In which case, I have to wonder if letting things play out naturally would be such a bad idea after all, especially if it seems to be going in a good direction. Suddenly, Misha stops and spins around, catching me by surprise. Surprise, Hee-chan, were you looking for me? I had a feeling. I was going to say, hey, I was just looking for you, but I suppose that's no good now. She isn't even finished with her sentence before she blows past me, heading for the exit. I have to admit that Misha is infuriatingly sharper than I expected, also surprisingly fast. Although it's more physical activity than I think I should be getting, I managed to catch up with her halfway to the gate. You are really being the rudest woman in the world right now. Can you just stop trying to run away for 1 second? I want to talk to you. Misha turns on her heel, looking mildly amused, and raises her hands as if to tell me to go on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you can hear that. So basically, they were so quiet. Like minutes ago. What? I think they just all gathered outside my door or something. I'm sorry. Misha turns on her heel, looking mildly amused, and raises her hands as if to tell me to go on. Now that I've got her attention, though, it's hard to think of the right thing to say. Where are you going now? To Shanghai? Can I go with you then? Waiting for her to answer feels like an eternity. It's almost as if I can hear my wristwatch ticking off the individual seconds. Okay then, Hee-chan. I get the sense that she only agreed because she doesn't want to argue anymore today. When we get there, a couple comes in after us, causing Misha to jump slightly at the noise. Seeing that it isn't Shizune, she relaxes again, smiling, almost as usual, to order a parfait from Yuko, and sliding into the nearest booth. You ran off too fast. You could have just at least waited to see what she was going to say. Misha's angry reaction tells me that it could be that she was just afraid of what Shizune might say. Why are you both doing this, Hee-chan? Because Shizune still wants to be your friend. I guess after her, it's kind of like launching a nuclear missile from a submarine. You need 2 keys to do it. What else can she do, though? She isn't automatically signing what she hears or says anymore, and I'm sure that is the reason Shizune's been having so much trouble with her. If she tried to just talk it over, you wouldn't listen. Misha's guilty expression tells me I've hit the mark. Okay, still parfait. Alright. Do you hate Shizune that much? No, Hee-chan, I told you that. She answers without even flinching, idly playing with a spoon. Yeah, I know. I'm sure she knows it too, but I wonder if it might be easier if you did. The only thing she really thought of for the last week is how to make you happy, since Shizune is still attached to you. Yesterday, though, she thought that maybe it would be easiest for you if you just hated her. Since you didn't tell her you hate her, Shizune thinks that you can both still be friends. She's like that, only thinking in extremes. Her parfait is starting to melt, the ingredients coming together in tiny rivers that remind me of the growing roots of a tree being shown through time-lapse photography. That's stupid. Chi-chan isn't that stupid, Hee-chan. Don't be ridiculous. It's got nothing to do with intelligence. Smart people can do stupid things. And anyway, isn't it true? I was terrified last week when we talked, but at the end, I was relieved because it sounded like things might go back to normal. I wasn't expecting you two to have a fight right after. It wasn't a fight, Hee-chan, it was just me yelling at her. I've noticed that Misha's voice never really changes in tone, just volume. It's so low with guilt that I can hardly believe it came from her. Either way, I was happy because I thought you and her could still be friends, since she needs you. No, she doesn't, Hee-chan. So, how do you know that? There are tons of things that Shizune doesn't. Vocalize, say, talk about. I'm afraid if I say the wrong thing, it'll ruin the mood. I get to finally have a conversation with her, and don't want to screw it up. I wonder if this is the first time she's had a honest conversation with me. Just because she didn't tell you doesn't mean she doesn't like you. That doesn't make any sense. Yes, it does. Otherwise, she would argue back. What? You don't think so? She picks fights with everyone, so why not you? Obviously because you're a friend and she values you, and Shizune is hurt too. She's just awful at showing her feelings. Usually does it the wrong way too, but she still likes you. Hee-chan, do you remember when I said I didn't want to hate Chi-chan or upset her? The truth is, I ended up doing both. Now it's like there's an awkwardness between us. It's hard to explain. Both of you are so stubborn. You were talking about how you didn't want to drift apart from Shizune, but then you're going to let it happen. And Shizune is just as bad. She wants to be your friend, but respects you too much to be as aggressive as she'd be with anyone else. What is going on over there? I'm sorry. And I'm sure that Misha interprets Shizune giving her space as a lack of caring. I screwed up already, Hee-chan. It'll happen again, I'm sure. When I think about it that way, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. It feels like either way I'll end up making things worse. Then it might be better if I didn't do anything at all, right? Don't be ridiculous. Why would you even think that way in the first place? Be more positive. It should be easy for you, I want to say, but that would be presumptuous. Hee-chan, I never knew you were so optimistic. I never expected it. You always act so gloomy when I try to surprise you. No, this is a recent thing. Really, I just hate it when people give up so easily now. Haha. Now, huh? Makes me mad when people give up. I used to think that giving up was kind of like running away, since that's how people always describe it. But now that I think about it, it's usually more like throwing something away. When you run away from something, you can think of it as still being there. So I was in the hospital, and I didn't want to run away from my problems. I wanted to never think about them again. Misha eats a spoonful of her gray ice cream goo. Did she only just remember that it was there now, or could it be she likes it that way? Anyway, my point is, you can't do that. People are too sentimental to just throw their memories out like that. It's impossible. Shizune can't think of a life in terms of anything but winning and losing. Don't you think she wishes she didn't have to remember the parts where she loses? You can't just pick and choose, though. It's like wanting to live in a bubble. The worst part is, your way of thinking is so wasteful. It's making you so pessimistic you're afraid of everything. Come on! I grab her hand as I wave Yuko over with the other to pay for our food. Where are we going now? Back to school before lunch is over. I want to check out a few places before then. Even though I start feeling tired after doing what could be described as on the level of a brisk jog at best, Misha and I eventually make it to the gate of the school, with little over 10 minutes to spare. I didn't think you really wanted to come to this school, you know? I didn't have a choice when I got to this gate. I'm pretty sure part of me was thinking, what a depressing place. It doesn't look depressing at all, though. Well, I thought I had everything figured out. I felt practically like another person. If I could, I'd go back and tell myself to stop thinking he can write everything off at a glance and acting like his life is already over. And he can never have fun again. The school grounds are still littered with quite a few people. It's lunchtime, so it's typical. This is where you and Shizune had me helping you put together 2 festivals. What a lot of hard work. I thought, I don't have time for this. When I look back on it, though, I didn't do all that much. I also didn't have anything better to do. I just have spent the time alone. Dragging her to our homeroom next, which is empty except for Mutuo trying to eat a sandwich before classes resume. Every time I thought of either of you, I wish you would leave me alone, whether it was here or... Leaving Mutuo to his lunch, we head to the nearby vending machine. I grab a soda while I have 5 minutes to drink it. I spent an entire lunch period with Misha, longer than both Shizune and I have managed to talk to her in days. Following me to the cafeteria or trying to corner me after my half classes, I never realized how we only talked like 4 times. It really was all in my head. I only barely realize it now. Okay. I'm sorry. I remember that, Hee-chan. But I know where all these places are too. Wait, let me finish my guided tour. Since we're running out of time... By the way, do you want a soda? Making our way to the stairwell, I'm glad that I don't have to pull her by the hand anymore. You get dizzy on the stairs, right? Yeah. I guess just here is good enough then. I lean against the wall as Misha sits down on the steps across from me. Do you ever miss the people you went to school with in elementary school or middle school? Me? Not really. No. That was fast. She didn't have to think about it. I find myself cringing reflexively. I had more friends in my old school, but I don't talk to them anymore. It almost makes me feel like that was another lifetime ago, which is sad, really. Sometimes I want to talk to them again, but I know I can't. I'm scared and embarrassed, things like that. They're too far away for me to go see them. Then I think about calling them, but I don't know most of their numbers. And I left on a sour note. So why would they want to see me again? It feels like I should forget about it. But I still think about it anyway and regret that I didn't try harder to stay in touch somehow. And I start to think that maybe feeling like I should forget about it is wrong. It would be an insult to all those people I had fun with and a waste of all the good times. Like I said before, even if there are bad times too, it's alright if you can look back on them as happy memories. But I didn't think about it then. So it was like I woke up one day and realized I had no friends. I just let myself lose all my friends and it felt awful. I really hate it if you and Shizune ended up the same way, that's all. That's all? It makes me sad to think about you'll do the same thing and push away your friend. Especially because you're not far away from Shizune. I mean, you even live in the same dorm. Friend and... Aren't you my friend too, Hichan? Yeah. You slept through all of it, but the fireworks were really nice way back at the festival. My first time seeing fireworks like that. And my first time really seeing them in the sky in a while. And I'd never really looked at the stars before then either. I had thumbed through a book about them while I was in the hospital though and learned a lot. Like that the stars aren't just burning, they're more like a constant chain of explosions so far away that some of the stars I'd be seeing would have burnt out for thousands of years already. It's that their light would only just be then reaching Earth. I saw a mock-up comparing the size of the planet to our sun, and then that to our other sun. Japan wasn't even visible on the tiny Earth in that book. You know what? You know what I never realized? She looks at me unexpectedly. They're actually amazingly shiny. It's true. Why are you doing this, Hichan? Doing what? I'm not stupid. I don't know. A bunch of reasons. Because you're Shizune's friends, and I liked how close you were. And maybe I'm trying to tell you that we all have our low points, but giving up is stupid. Anyway, it seems worth the trouble. That's the only reason? You're my friend. That's it? I can't do anything for no reason. Well, you can, but I want to know. What else do you want to hear? The bell rings before Misha can reply, so she ends up laughing instead. You know, I'm thinking I should just make this a short episode because children are screaming in the background. like, obviously they're just playing, but Jesus Christ. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna look at the flowchart real quick, so. Yeah, apparently the only thing it says Act 4 to my other self, then point to the bad ending and the good ending. And that's all I see in the flowchart. So I don't know how many scenes there are in between. So I'm just gonna keep going for now. So yeah. The next day, Misha is back in class, although still looking pretty sullen. Not that I was expecting her to magically feel better. That would be asking the impossible considering what happened. This time, it's Shizune who's out. At first, it almost makes me laugh that suddenly, whenever one is in class and the other isn't. But thinking about it, there's nothing funny about it, There's nothing funny at all about it. In fact, I find it hard to concentrate on my work because of it. It could be that she's just sick, or she could simply be skipping class. It would also be something more serious, and I'm tempted to ask Misha if she knows, but I end up doing nothing. I don't regret stepping in yesterday, scared that Misha would do something rash. But now I feel like I should give her some space. Eventually the bell rings, and Misha gets up for lunch along with everyone else. I decide to eat lunch in an empty classroom today. Not just this one. Unfortunately, a lot of other students seem to have the same idea, so there aren't a whole lot of empty classrooms to go around. Finally, as I'm about to give up on the idea, I find a dark one at the end of the hall. On turning the lights on, however, I find out that this one isn't empty either. Lily's head turns in my direction, which freaks me out before I realize she probably heard me flipping the light switch. Hello? Hello? Hey Lily, I didn't think anyone else would be here. Is that you, Hazal? Yeah, you probably are, but you probably knew that already. I turn to leave, which prompts Lily to quickly speak up. You don't have to leave so quickly. We can both have lunch in the same room. As a matter of fact, I would prefer to eat with someone else. Present tense, okay. I'm about to ask her how she knew I was here to eat lunch, but brushed it aside. It's just simple common sense, and I don't want to seem too easily impressed. I take a seat at the desk in front of Lily, after reversing it to face hers. I've heard that our minds fill in a lot of what we see based on how we remember seeing it once before, or our expectations, mostly for efficiency, as to not have to process everything you took individually. Lily never seems to stop to question any noise. So I wonder, is it because her mind is filling in context every time, or does she not care, she just sort of accept things as they fall into place? On her desk, there are just a few cookies and a thermos of tea. She must have been one of those light lunch types. I bite into my sandwich. Some of the ingredients spill out the back end. We haven't spoken in a long time. I'm surprised that you still remember my name. It must be very busy in the student council. It's different every week. Some weeks are pretty slow. Some weeks I consider taking a sick day. Hold on. Lily, I need a second to catch my breath from inhaling that sandwich. And how has it been lately? Unpredictable. I snap my fingers, which from her facial expression upsets her a lot. I think you've been hanging out with those two too much. I guess it's one of Shizune's trademarks. Personally, I like it. I ignore it. Her tone doesn't change even slightly, but Lily's mood has obviously dipped. Doesn't seem like it would be easy too. I've been trying to figure out how she can make it so loud, but I think I'm damaging my knuckles. Even if it were loud enough to break the windows, I would ignore it. I'm not a trained seal, I have that luxury. Are you still mad about it? I asked the question as carefully and diplomatically as possible, although in the end, I'm only asking to satisfy my curiosity. No, of course not, although I don't like Shizune. We were in the student council together for a brief time, I heard. I wish you hadn't been so quick to join. I don't like the way Shizune runs the student council. Did you know that she's scared off most of the old members? That's why I think she tries to surround herself with people who won't oppose her. And they don't, it's like a dependency bubble. I'm sure that Shizune is aware of what what Lily is saying. After all, I can remember her specifically denying it a couple of times, which I'd always thought is strange. They say the more specific a denial is, the more likely it is that the allegations are true. In this case, I think I disagree. Shizune is the one subject on which her opinion could be called less than objective. Did you tell her that? Very often. Lily stops to polish off the last of her tea. I'm running behind on finishing my own lunch and take advantage of the pause to eat as much as possible. All of her friends are related to the student council, like Misha. I've heard things are touchy between her and Misha. Did they have a fight? Not really. Is that so? Either way, there's no point in attempting to force them to make up. Always try to confront everything head-on is what Shizune would do. But it doesn't work in the real world. At some point, it's just being stubborn, not bravery or good intentions. That's a little general, don't you think? I suppose. What do you think is the best to have with tea, cookies or scones? I like them both in different ways, I couldn't possibly choose. I don't like people who constantly force me to pick sides or want to turn everything into a contest. When I joined the student council, I thought it would just mean helping everything run smoothly and helping people out, like being the class representative. Instead, every day consisted of having Chizune stomp around, using Misha like a megaphone to talk about how we had to outdo the last student council and create more and more events and make them increasingly larger. But then the two of you basically want the same but then the two of you basically want the same thing. All the stuff that makes things exciting. I didn't really get it at first, but it's not some ego project. People like fireworks, soba hunts, candied apples, and dress-up days or whatever. The more the student council does, the more responsibility the school gives us. It means extra work, but in a way it also means more freedom. You have to pull to do things like organize a big festival, and they'll think you're capable enough to handle it instead of rejecting it instantly. Anyway, I want that too now. It's got a share of pointless busy work, but there are moments that make it worth it when everything comes together. It gives me something to do. If I were to just go to school day in, day out, I think I'd explode. I think Yamaku is much more easygoing than other schools. Yamaku isn't other schools, though. I start slipping into another familiar mentality. In some ways, it's almost too easygoing. And if I were a different person, I'm sure that I would find how easygoing it was to be stifling. Though in any other school, such easiness would just be the normal flow of life. But here, the uneventfulness would be compounded. It would feel different because I'm not a normal person after all. I'd be reminded of it every time I heard the blood beating in my temples. I feel patronized and weak, and my bitterness would only grow. Yeah, sure. The point is, I think I understand what it's all about now. You're really giving Shizune too much of a hard time. That might be true, but when it comes down to how she treats individual people, she doesn't do very well. Unfortunately, that one is a little harder to argue. Do you have the time? I'd like to go to class 10 minutes before the bell. Then you're right on time if you go now. Excusing herself, Lily leaves, and I sit listening to the clicking of her cane on the floor, fading into the mumble of other students having conversations in the other classrooms and in the hall. I feel exhausted and completely forget what I wanted to talk to Shizune today. Okay. Spiral. Okay, well, I'm gonna save here. And looks like they have calmed down the second I am considering ending the video. You know what, okay, so I did save, yeah, I saved here at Spiral, so, main menu. Yeah, let's look at the main menu, okay. So yeah, there is the, Act 4 there, so, yep, and, let's see, extras. So yeah, still need 2 more of that, gallery, yeah. Yeah, there is a large chunk we still need. So, yeah. Yeah, but there's this image. Okay. Okay, I'm not exactly sure what the image after this one is supposed to be. Did I, like, skip something? I'm not exactly sure. Anyways, so, yeah. So yeah, I feel like I might have accidentally skip something. Yeah. Plus there's like a chunk of these missing, so. Alright, library Shizune. Okay, so I'm now at 65 completion, right? And, okay. So I'm thinking I'm halfway through Act 4, and the one after look aside is the do not comfort Misha. And yeah. Of course, got Rin and Emmy all complete and stuff, and yeah. And I got a chunk of things to see. Yeah, there's a gallery. So yeah. Honestly, I guess I could like have. Although I did want to end it at a. I did want to end this late playthrough at a good ending. I just have to make sure that if I wanted to end it at a good ending, I'd have to go. I'm thinking of a certain character, right? And honestly, I'd have to get the neutral ending. I'd have to, like, if there's anything in Act 1, I'd have to go back and just look at all of that, right? You know, I'd have to make sure all the other routes are complete, right? If I wanted to make the last episode a good ending. So, yeah. But anyway, I'm going to take a break for now, and, hopefully... So, yeah, since it's like Friday, so within the next few days, I fully intend to complete the Shizune route. Although I'm not gonna, I don't know what I'm gonna do after. So, I mean, I could try to complete the entire game before summer ends. Although, then again, I had like, yeah, I had like a bunch of stuff go down earlier, so I might be able to complete the entire game before the summer ends, but I'm not entirely sure. Either way, have a nice day. It's been Dean the Autist. See you later. I'm going to record a bunch of episodes today, so later today I'm just going to take a break. Goodbye.